Hi, I'm Coleen and welcome to my channel. We're going to take care of my grandma's unfinished blocks today.
The first thing I needed to do with all these blocks was get them to a regular size, each to match. So I was trying to figure out how little I could take off and get that done. It wound up about 10 inches, and I tried to center the applique. This one, my grandma had already finished the applique on it. She hadn't got her lace on it yet, but I'm trying to keep it hers. So I was just doing my best to center it up and getting it down to 10 inches. And I had two suggestions. One was a sheet or a blanket for backing, and the other was the Pelon SF101. So while I was waiting for the SF to be delivered, I figured I would try the sheet that I had. So I did. I ironed them both the best I could. Then I cut the 10-inch out of the sheet, and I put the right side of the applique against the sheet, so the SUN BONNET SUE facing the sheet, and I pinned them together and left room for turning, and I'll go sew that all the way around except for my turning. And I did pin these because the fabrics were pretty slippery next to each other, but whatever fabric my grandma used for backing was it frayed a lot, and I wanted to stop that. So that's me marking my open spot.
Then where I put the pins close, I'm going to start. I have seam tape here. I'm just going to use that. This doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think I prefer, no, better do 1/4 of an inch. This fabric is so thin, I worry it will fray. Put my needle down, a couple stitches forward, and it's on basic setting on this foot. It's number 1, which gets my needle in the middle, 2.5 for the length, 3.5 for the width. What am I going to do? Just trying to decide whether I want to sew off or turn. I'll turn. Make sure my fabric's still where I want it. Like that. Go over it. Normally, I would backstitch and forward stitch more than this. Like I said, I am very worried about that fabric. Since I backstitched, I'm just going to put those. And I'm going to clip the corners. So this corners will, kind of come out straight. Don't hit your stitches. I'm going to get knot away from them. I had no idea that my grandma embroidered and sewed. This grandma. Pretty sure my other one did. Had to make kids' clothes and things. When you got 13 kids, poking my thumb into the corners, and poking my finger into the other side, pushing it out. You could use a purple thing. You could also use a stiletto, as long as you're careful. And if you don't get them poked out perfectly, get your pin and just pull that corner a little bit. Maybe I sewed around corner. And I'll straighten it up. There we go. It's good enough. I'm not looking for perfection. Now before I sew the shut, I missed a corner. Wait a minute and put my finger on the other side and then poke. I'm just rolling these away from the center. Pushing it back and forth to get that seam up. I would like to get some lace though, because she has beautiful little white lace. I grab these two sides, tuck it in, grab the two sides, and if I did a good enough job, those sides will go stay in. Just like that. But I will pin them because things move on me you would not believe. Now if someone else chooses to put these in a block or anything else, my seam would either be cut off or in the seam allowance, so it's okay. I'm going to get myself threading needles and pull those inside. And if I left this open, I could stuff it and it would be a pillow. It's actually an idea to leave it open. No, not gonna. Not overthinking it anymore. And I'm going to put it between these two fabric. Whoops. For this one, I'll probably do just a little stitch like inside of where she stitched. Setting on 1, length is 2.5 and the width is 3.5. I'm going to get this just as close as to the edge as I can. This is a Brother XR9550. I may have said 950 once. Now I saw when I was poking those threads in, the hat was trying to come undone right there. So I wonder if I can go along Grandma's line without, I'm not back stitching. I'm going to bury the threads. This makes it pretty sturdy. My friend Melissa over at Practically Creative, she's the one that suggested it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two to the back. Actually, I'm going to poke it in about where it's, I need better light, about where it's coming out. I'm going to poke it in and go down, get it to come out where that other one on the back is. And I'm going to bury my thread like I would in a quilt. Once I find somewhere to bury it, I'm going to go between. I can feel on the other side if that comes through. That's not coming through. I didn't hear it pop. Did you hear it pop? Sometimes my threads get uneven and I have to separate them and pull them to make them even. Oh no, where's my magnet? There we go. How was that for a magic trick? Again, I'm going to go in kind of where it is and just work through the fabric a little bit in between them and then go up. I just want the threads buried. I'm not terribly worried about anything else. This may go in like a window, shadow box.
Now I am trimming some more blocks down to 10 inches. And these I'm going to try the Pellon SF101 on. There's still pins in here, and my son thinks those are just tiny nails, not pins. And from the thickness of them, I can't say I disagree. You never know. After I did a few of these, I did decide that I needed to iron them, but man, I didn't want to iron them. Just because I don't know what the fabric is. I don't know if it... So I put it on the lowest setting and some water after just a couple, because there's too many wrinkles. You can't get it flat and squared upright when you've got all those wrinkles, because once those wrinkles relax, it's going to take it out of square. I don't know if that made sense. The butterfly blocks, I'm confident are cotton. They may be old flour sack dish towels, and you can see the edges of some of them. All the butterflies have been picked out of something else, so she must have changed her mind about them. My aunt tells me that she was always had those SUN BONNET SUE ones in her hands sewing on them. I've cut my Pellon the same size as my blocks. And this particular Pellon is a single side woven fusible. Single side fusible woven. Probably how I'm supposed to say it anyway. This worked out really good for the size that the Pellon came in. And you're supposed to use water when you add it. I have been told, and I have also tried using it without water, and it worked. But since these aren't going to be around me for me to see what happens to them, I am going to follow directions this time. A damp pressing cloth and my iron, and it goes real quick. I was using the cutoffs first, make sure it's going to work. And I skipped the iron. Oh wait, no, I changed my mind. That's what happened. And that's all there is to it.
I did all of the blocks like this before I sent them off, and they were very excited to get them. I still have mine to do. Here it is, the beginning of September. Don't have mine done yet. My grandmother had cut all of these out. And of course, this is, I say vintage because they're at least 30, probably older. She has cut all of these out, all the little laces, the Sun Bonnet Sues, and put them, I might hand stitch that kind of thing. Anyway, she put them on this fabric. I put SF101 on it because I don't know what kind of fabric this is. It is some kind of blend, I'm sure, because of the way it smells when I iron it. I know it's not 100% cotton. I put the SF101 on it because it was just so thin. And she has pinned all of this lace, is her pinning it. Now I'm going to straighten up the lace, but I'm trying not to move the Sun Bonnet Sues too much. These little bitty pins she used. I'm keeping them all. Little bitty pins. And my friends told me on the live this morning I should use the straight stitch to put the lace down, because I was going to try the zigzag stitch. Evidently that's not what we do. I am on my Brother XR9550. Sometimes I call it the wrong thing, but that's what this is. It's a quilting embroidery machine. It's one of the lesser expensive ones. There's links underneath my videos if you'd like to see it. I'm not sponsored, no kickbacks, not affiliate, just it's what I use, so I share. And I'm going to put my stitch on number 4, which is a zigzag stitch, and I want that length down to a 3. Actually, I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to do that as a 3. I'm back stitching. Ouch. I'm putting the thickest part of the lace on that skirt so I get her skirt down really good. My aunt also told me to use the straight stitch. That's what she uses. She said she doesn't know if it's right, but that's what she uses, and I said, okay, that's what I'll do. Then I thought I was going to be smart and zigzag. No, you don't get to do that. Whoops. Now we'll go to the zigzag stitch, which is number 4. I'm doing a 3 length, 0.3 length with a 3.5 width. I'm making sure it goes down the way I intend it to. And then okay, this is not moving so well. I don't like how that's working. Don't know why it's not moving for me. Maybe I need to. I don't want a wider. That's moving. So I changed my length to 0.5. Go up where that lace is going to start, and I'll come back down. Oops. I did not come back down far enough. I'm so sorry. When you're turning something this way, stop on the outside. When you're turning this way, stop on the inside. Stopping on the outside. Don't want that little lace. That's getting hard for me to see. Next, stop on the inside. I'm going to lift that up and move it over just a bit. And then just letting the machine, sorry, talking while it's going, I need to stop that. I'm just letting the machines feed dogs and press your foot, carry it. Stop on the outside because I'm turning out. When I get here, I'll stop on the inside when I turn. When I pivot. I guess I'm pivoting, I'm not really turning. I don't like exactly where it's hitting. I'll move it a little bit. I'll put that lace in there. I don't want to cut my threads more than I have to. Placing that lace where I want it until I get up to it. And then I'm going to switch my stitch back to the straight stitch. One on this machine, and it's a standard 2.5 length, 3.5. I say standard, I mean that's what my machine automatically defaults to. I hope you all can see this. It's just very hard to get the camera on the other side at the moment. I want that lace covering up the hat. So in the comments, tell me. I'm nosy. Do you have old blocks from somebody that you loved that you don't want to mess with too much? That are unfinished? I have some friends that are very good at helping, and maybe Melissa or Sylvia or my friend Dawn at My Quilt Projects could give you a hand on tips how to safely finish them. I don't know. They may say, Coleen, what did you do to us? But you know what? I did the same thing Grandma did. I came inside the fabric more than I intended to. I don't know if she didn't intend to, but I didn't intend to. Let's go back to that satin stitch. And the 0.5 length and 3.5 width. I have I think it's the 8th mark right here on this foot. The outer outer edge of my fabric is going there. And I'm using my not stiletto, also known as a seam ripper, as a stiletto. Back stitching here, and when I'm all done, I'm going to take all of my threads, whoops, underneath. So I'm leaving them long. I'm going to tie them off underneath. I'll use self-threading needles. I don't know if I can do that. Grandma did it, I saw, but wow, that's hard to see. I really can't see that. I'll do my best. And this is a big enough, a wide enough turn that I'm just turning the fabrics. I'm not having to stop and pivot so much like that. I'm just pivoting my fabric. I can hear that that's not gone forward. Oh, take the pins out. What kind of fool leaves a pin in? And the little bitty pins. Why are we acting up all of a sudden, machine? I know weird noises when I hear them. Meow. These dogs are not moving on me. I'm going to do that another time. Okay, got all the pins out of this one. Isn't that precious? These dogs right there weren't moving. It was bunching up on me. I'm going to have to fix that. Not today. Oh, that's just so precious. I'm getting more comfortable with moving. I didn't want to move anything my grandma put anywhere. At the same time, I need to mail these, so the pins need to come out. You don't just mail people pens. Well, maybe you do. I'm going to put this back on the straight stitch, which is a 1, because I want it in the center. Double 0 makes the foot go over that way. I like it in the center. I don't like it where I centered that up. Okay, a couple stitches forward, a couple stitches backwards. I am going to go buy me some lace as soon as my budget allows it. I've never worked with it, and it's cool. I probably said that already. Do you have any tips or tricks with lace that you want to share? Put them in the comments. Comments is a great place to find helpful hints and tips. Sometimes I do things all different. And it's not wrong, it's just different. Oh, the little lace. You have to cut it. Oh, it's just so adorable. Now I'm going to turn back to the zigzag stitch. And I've got my hand in the back just in case it decides it's not going to push that through. What happens is the thread gets bunched up right there and it gets stuck on this part of the foot. Whoops, almost lost my not stiletto. It gets stuck right there and doesn't go back. There's probably another foot I could use, but this is the one I got in and that's the one I'm using. And so I'm going to stay here and make sure that it doesn't get bunched up right there. I've never done a sun bonnet sue. It looks like the way Grandma cut these, it's not supposed to go on the back of the bonnet. So I'm not putting it all the way to the back of the bonnet. I had another grandma who wore bonnets all the time. And I don't remember lace being on the back of them. She had some pretty sun bonnets. You move it a little bit to get that foot laying where I want it. I want it on the inside because I'm turning to the inside. My curve goes this way, so I want it on the inside, on the left when I stop it, or on the left when I stop it, turning this way, right when I'm turning, like a backwards C. Oops. Keep dropping down on that hat too quick. Bonnet. I really hope my family doesn't think that again, I need to move this over just a bit. I changed what Grandma did too much. I'm going to go just under where that lace fits, and then I'm going to go back and change to my straight stitch. Tack down so I can fuss with it some more and change back to my straight stitch. Whoops, that's not going to do it. There we go. One, and the default for the length and the width. I want the thicker part of this lace in the back on the edge of the bonnet. So I'm catching both, but too much of that bonnet isn't showing out. That's actually right where I need it. Forgot to let my needle reset. And I can see where there's a sewn line right there. I'm going to try to keep on that line on the lace. There's a line of stitching right there. I'm putting it just inside the brim of that hat. I can imagine doing this. Lots of little stitching. I have an aunt that makes Barbie clothes. Talk about little. Oops, I almost forgot. Put my foot back down. Don't take it out. I'm going to go back over this and come over here and finish that. zigzag stitch. Along my edge up. Just a little bit. Take it up. I guess that happens in applique. Right there, this little bonnet. And here's a look at the blocks that I finished up and are going in the mail. I hope you're encouraged to finish some blocks, start some blocks, mend some blocks, something. Maybe you learned something. Anyway, be the light you hope to see in others. Take care and have a good week.